First and foremost, I would love to say thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing, for your reviews, and for your comments. This means a lot to me. Hello, and welcome to Mirror Talk. We have moments where we just have to pause. Just pause and take a break and reflect on life. Remember, you are strong, you are enough, you are capable, you are blessed, and you are loved. Your moment of greatness starts now. Hello once again, my name is Toby Ojekunle, and I'm very grateful for your support so far. One way or the other, you found this podcast and you decided to listen. I cannot thank you enough for this. You might have heard that the only constant thing in life is change. The continuous evolving of things and situations. The never-ending transformation or modification that we consciously or subconsciously experience. It shows itself in various aspects of our lives, be it physically, spiritually, financially, emotionally, or mentally. We have to constantly change from one level to another. Let us talk about a little baby, for example. It is going to be a very huge problem if the baby remains in the same stage of development after 10 years, even after a few months. The parents of such a baby would get worried if the baby is not undergoing the necessary growth needed. This is a similar kind of red alert that we get if things do not get adjusted, modified, or even replaced at their right time. With over 40 episodes of this Mirror Talk podcast, I have been blessed to speak with very talented and intelligent people. After recording an episode with Dr. Miriam Alayonde, we spent over an hour talking about life and self-improvement. One thing that she said that stuck with me was that we have areas of our lives in which we're a mess, or different phases or times in our lives in which things are out of order because no one is perfect. But do we just fold our hands and live in this mess? Or do we try to clean up the mess? In life, we go through different situations, we find ourselves in various circumstances, and we make mistakes. We are mostly unable to avoid a lot of these things. But the conscious efforts to correct our ways, to prevent the mistakes, the situations, or circumstances from repeating themselves in the future makes us a work in progress. We keep on learning from our mistakes. We keep on growing from the circumstance. We keep on making changes, blocking up loopholes, filling up potholes, and patching our roofs to prevent the past experiences from reoccurring. This makes me remember a course I had in control engineering in which we dealt with feedback control systems. These are kinds of systems that consider their outputs in their control process. This is done by feeding the output back to the beginning of the whole process. The feedback output would then be compared with a reference. The difference between the reference and the output will then be used by the controller to determine or change the input to the system under control. Relating that to my life, the system is who I am. It consists of my behavior, my character, my reactions to things, my attitude towards people, towards work, and my dreams, my attitude towards my vision or life in general. The reference is that goal I am trying to accomplish, that vision I am trying to realize, or the purpose that I am trying to fulfill. In the beginning, my output could be nothing to write home about. It could be terrible, and it might lead to a very big difference when it is compared with my reference. The effort to always work and improve my life puts the controller in place, which is then used to calculate or determine my new input. All of this is done to bring me closer to my goal. It might take one cycle to achieve this, and it could take a million cycles, but being faithful and truthful to this process slowly and surely brings you closer to where you are supposed to be. Up to a certain percentage, you are in charge of your feedback control system. You have to be truthful with yourself at the stage of self-evaluation. That is the point of comparing your outcome or your output with your goals. Let us try out an exercise together. Kindly pause this podcast if you have to. Get a pen and a piece of paper and write down your goals and give each of these goals 10 points. You can pause the podcast once again to have adequate time to write down the goals and give each of these goals 10 points. Are you done? Okay, now take a little time to reflect on each of these goals and evaluate your progress towards each of these goals. Your progress is the current output for each goal. With 0 being you have done absolutely nothing towards achieving the goal, and 10 being that you have fully achieved the goal. Subtract your evaluation of your progress towards each goal from the 10 points allocated to the goal itself. This will yield the difference that will be used for the next stage of the process. The next stage of the feedback control system involves the controller. How does the controller relate to us? The controller makes use of our honest evaluation to find solutions that could be helpful or useful in making us move closer to our goal. But how does this controller process the information that we give into it? We do this by looking within. We search for what we have done wrong and try to make them right. We search for things that might have been overlooked or ignored in the past and try to reconsider them. When we have not made any progress towards our goals because we honestly do not know how to go about it, it could be very helpful to pick up a book relating to the topic. It could be useful to go online and research on the topic. We can simply start by using keywords on Google search. That way, we can search for vital information that could help us to start the journey towards achieving our goals. It could be that we are far away from our goal because we need different forms of assistance from friends, from family, or from our belief system. Do not be shy or afraid to ask for help. In my case, I believe in God and in His grace. I commit my ways and my plans into His hands so that He can lead me and guide me as well as rescue me whenever I am stuck in a situation. What is your belief system? Now let's go back to the list that we have made. Beside each point that we have calculated for the goals, let us write what we need to do to reduce the difference between our goal and our current progress towards that goal. The list and the table we have made now creates an overview of our goals and the next approaches towards our goals. Please remember that depending on your goal, it might take more than 1 or 10 iterations to reach your precious goal. Thank you for doing this with me. I am very proud of you. Wait a minute, have you heard about the Newton's first law of motion? It states that an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed and the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. Reflecting on this law of motion, I am learning to appreciate every disturbance or every turbulence that I experience in my journey. It is sometimes very difficult to fight through the storm, but you will always come out a different and hopefully a better person who has learned a lot from the experience. Although it could be very tough, but the unbalanced force sets us in motion, it quickens our steps, and it helps us to improve our lives. While watching Becoming, Michelle Obama's documentary, a young lady asked Michelle Obama how it was like getting back on track and back to normality after successfully being the First Lady of the United States for 8 years. Michelle Obama simply replied by saying that one does not have to get back on track. You can also change track. This gives a sense of hope because you know that you can start a new adventure and be successful with it. You can restart a journey and be successful with it. No matter the circumstance, you have the chance to start again. You have the opportunity to rewrite your story. No matter how difficult the journey of life could be, please be kind to yourself. Do not be harsh or too judgmental on yourself whenever you fall, whenever you make a mistake, whenever you fail, or whenever you miss the way. It also applies when we are dealing with our neighbors, with our partner, with our friends, acquaintances, and with the world at large. Please, let us be kind to one another because we do not know what the other person is going through. We cannot be 100% sure of their stage of development. You can only tell about yourself and about your own journey. Let us treat and embrace ourselves with love. We are all work in progress. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I really appreciate it. Remember that I love you, I see you, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I am eternally grateful for your time, your love, and contributions. You mean a lot to me. Thank you once again for listening and sharing with your loved ones. Don't forget to subscribe and follow this journey on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other platforms in the description. Stay blessed.